Welcome back to First Last Podcast from the first, the last, the nerdum, where we go back to the source, the films that laid the groundwork for the hits that followed. This month, we're cruising through the originals month, our series dedicated to the movies that came first, the inspirations behind bigger, flashier, and often more widely known versions. And this week, we're hitting the streets of Turin with the stylish 1969 British caper, The Italian Job, directed by Peter Collinson and starring the effortless, cool Michael Caine. The Italian Job follows a recently released thief who assembles a team to pull off an elaborate gold heist, complete with traffic jams, Mini Coopers, and one of the most iconic getaway sequences ever put to film. It's bold, it's cheeky, and it's packed with personality. A heist movie that leans just as much on style and attitude as it does on the mechanics of the job itself. Of course, this is the film that would later be reimagined for a new generation. But the question is, does the original still outshine its successor? Does it hold up as a clever caper, or is it its legacy tied more to its iconic moments than its full story? We'll be breaking down its influence, its tone, and why the Italian Job remains such a beloved piece of cinematic history. So get in the car, trust the plan, and remember, you're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. This is the first, the last podcast, and the originals month continue with the Italian Job.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are back at it with the Italian Job. But first, we're going to pay some bills. What does that mean? Who are we? We are the firstlastnerdum.com. You can see us, find us on online, as well as more likely home base on at YouTube at First Last Nerdum. And I believe that we have a complicated. It's complicated, is what our status is with the relationship with Reddit. Tom, tell us why.
Yeah, well, yeah, they sometimes delete or block my post. It's a fun little game. But yeah, I don't know. They've let me post a couple of times, the past couple of weeks. So we'll see what's going on. I'm on there under First Last Nerdum. I'm also under X under First Last Nerdum. And then I know you were banned to the Shadow Realm when it comes to Reddit, but you are on X, right?
I am, yeah. And at one point I was banned on X, but that's a different story for another time. But yeah, no. I wish I could be on Reddit, but it just I don't know. It's not in the cards for me, and that's okay. But yeah, you can always find me at SuffolkingJewish_. A man is right, a donkey turned the wrong way. However, we are not turned the wrong way for this week's excellent original that you picked. I don't know what it is. It just kind of happens where we just have this synergy. I know that you might, as part of the audience out there, might want to throw up for me using corporate lingo, but please don't. But we hit some really good heist movies too. Essentially, if you really get down to it, I could make an argument that Saving the Green Planet was a heist movie. Yeah, no, not really.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah,
but
it's weird we have those kind of themes, but yeah, you threw down your American heist
yep,
movie last week
yep.
with
Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 11, so that triggered me. Oh, I've got a heist movie that I like. It's maybe the only heist movie that we're really keen on, but yeah, the
Yeah.
Italian Job. Yeah, I Anglophile, as you may know. So yeah, and this wasn't on my radar until the early 2000s. They came out with a really nice DVD of it alongside the well, they did the remake, and then they came out with this DVD along with Rockstar did a video game for the
That's
original
right.
movie. They came out in 2001, and so yeah, I got the game, I got the movie. I really enjoyed the game. Just it was just basically just driving around. I don't think you ever got out of your car, but it was
That's
just a
awesome.
a fun little game running around in your little Mini Cooper. But yeah, and then, I fell in love with the movie. So it's always been kinda in my, back of my mind, this movie, and, just a couple of years ago, Kino Lorber came out with the 4K of this. So I picked it up, when it was on sale. Kino Lorber's has sales every few months or so, and, got it cheap, and, yeah, I was looking forward to maybe covering this, and then, I thought perfect time with you doing your heist, so,
Absolutely.
just had to do it. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, stars, Michael Caine and,
Yes.
Noel Coward. Just, the movie, well, if you got Caine in there, it's gonna have charisma to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, so you had exposure to now the video game, obviously, in the newer one, I would take it that you saw Matt Damon in the 2003 version. Uh, and had seen this one before we had decided to cover it, at all? Like,
Yeah, I saw it back
yeah.
in
Okay, right on.
2001 when the video game came out and the DVD came out,
Okay.
and, yeah, I just, I watched all the extras on that DVD. I kinda just fell in love with the movie and the world that it was kinda created with, so, and I became real fascinated with the director and Michael Caine and all of them. It just was the movie's a really bright movie, colorful. The only ding I'll give the 4K is that it's dark. There's
Mm.
kind of dark. I don't know if that makes it more cinematic, but I just kind of like the it kind of lost kind of the brightness to it, but yeah, and that may just be me kind of complaining, but yeah, the movie is just a really fun heist movie. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's very British. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a fun movie.
Well, yeah, and I know that the Ocean's 11 was in 1960, and I have no connective, thing to talk about my own history with the Italian Job. I mean, I once upon a time, I saw the Italian Job. I don't it was really cool, like, it kinda went in a rush, and then the way that my brain works, it just got put into, like, all the Matt Damon movies, and then it's somewhere along the line, I would misconflate that and the Bourne Identity, and it's like, "That's not right." But I had never seen the original, and this was eye-opening for me because I I'm not gonna say that the 1960 Ocean's 11 didn't, uh I'm not gonna say that I mean, it definitely had a cool crew, kinda template, like, here's the gang, not quite as, as whatever, but I think that there is a different aspect of it. I think this does it a little bit, a little bit cooler, like, whereas the Ocean's 11, it was more about the verve and that atmosphere and
Mhm.
basically Frank Sinatra holding court, and and that was what that movie was, but it was backed by a very good cinematographer who knew how to work with the strengths of what he was given when he was not, the director. But
Mhm.
this one, completely different movie, still a heist movie, but I feel like you absolutely get the cool factor from, the Rat Pack, that all the guys, for sure.
Mhm.
But this is in a it stands on its own because not only do you have Michael Caine, who's just the epitome of British friggin' cool, for everything they're in. I love him anyway, but you also have Benny Hill, who was the dynamite star of that era, arguably, in the late '60s and the '70s. He held the throne of British comedy, one of many. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, and boy, there's a lot to get into, but, I think I didn't have any issue. This caused me to actually watch it a couple times this week because I wanted to really enjoy it, and there's just so much to catch too, like, there's just you could slow that I mean, just from the opening scene where he's driving around the curvy road and whatever, and you got the soundtrack, or the one song going,
Mhm.
it's this is what Quentin Tarantino replicates in his movies. I mean, he does a good job of it, but this is it. This is it. This is like this is the original. This is the bona fide original, and it's awesome. I love the way that the story you get to learn a little bit more, and there's also a little bit of a we might get to it, but we'll hold it in reserve. But as we go through here, but well, I guess what is the strongest thing that do you like the cars, the Mini Cooper, aside from obviously the Anglophile side, I see for sure that just got that coolness. And one of the Michael Caine is also playful in his role too. About probably the biggest ding that I would have against is what you said, the 4K, but it was probably like it'd probably be his name. It's just that's just not one that rolls off the tongue like James Bond. That's probably the only thing that because like there's a scene in the early part of the movie where he gets out of jail, and we'll set it up here in a minute. But he gets out of jail, and then his uh, I guess assistant whatever goes like, "Which one do you want, Charlie?" And it's a room full of beautiful women, and he says everything.
Yeah. Right.
That that is awesome. Like, that is just one of many reasons, and that's like a throwaway moment in the movie to me, but it's not
Mhm.
really important to anything, but it sets the tone for how cool this is and where we're going, like
Yeah, and I believe Michael Caine was, he just come off the success of Alfie, and, the movie Alfie, and, yeah, he was kind of popular at that point, at least in Britain, and, so this is sort of like, almost like a sequel to Alfie,
Mhm,
they said, but yeah, to start with the story, Troy Kennedy Martin, wrote the, movie. He got the idea actually from his brother, who also is a writer. They
right,
they were both writing for television, and Troy was wanting to get into film. And his brother had heard about how the traffic lights were getting computerized, and
mhm,
Troy thought, and the guy had kind of wrote a story about a heist,
right,
using the traffic lights, and Troy liked the idea, but didn't think it worked with television because it was a little bit too high tech for television to really film it properly. So he thought it would be better suited for a movie. So he bought the idea off of his brother, and moved it from England to Italy, and kind of with the British aspect being that the guys pulling off the job were British, and and he got a in touch with Michael Dealey, who was the producer, became the producer of this, and they sort of got the ball rolling. They actually the producer actually wanted Robert Redford as the guy, because Robert Redford was popular, and to sell it better to to the American audience, they thought Robert Redford would be better, but they ended up with Michael Caine, and they were going to get Peter Yates to be the director because he had just recently made Bullet, which made sense. With the cars, that he would be the best one for it.
right.
But instead, they got Peter Collinson, 'cause I think, they said he was cheaper, so but I know the producer had known, and had worked with Peter Collinson previously, so I knew he would, be able to do a good job, and Peter Collinson's a really interesting character. I'll get a little bit more into him a little bit later, but like you said, they also hired Benny Hill, who,
Mhm.
they said was actually pretty shy. During filming in Italy, they all were living in this hotel, and after filming, they would all hang out except for Benny Hill. He would just disappear. They wouldn't know where he would go to, but they say he was very
Yeah.
shy. He's very nice, but yeah, he didn't hang out with people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was also gonna say too, like, there is quite a bit of technology into this, like, it's
Yeah,
you
yeah,
would
it's
think
a
you would think like, "Oh, 1969 and, oh, they're not gonna have this or that," no, not at all. Matter of fact, Benny Hill that you to kinda bridge into what you were saying before with him, he plays Professor Peach, and he's supposed to be the computer nerd guy.
yeah.
He's essentially the Sammy Davis Jr. character, essentially in Ocean's 11, kind of, sort of, but
Yeah.
the tech whiz guy, but and of
He's
course
the hacker,
he,
yeah.
yeah,
He's,
and
if he's not the first hacker, he's, one of the first in movie history.
absolutely, yeah, and they perfectly, you would think that it's a computer. Nobody knows what the hell that is back in 1969, but the way
Mhm.
that they do it, the way that they shot it, and they kind of do it, it makes sense, and they don't spend too much time on it, but it works. Like, you're like, but then you kind of like wonder, how did they do that, or how would that work? But yeah, so yeah, and you have the you and of course you had a sophisticated kind of plot. Essentially, like a heist is like a very big, cool puzzle that you get to kind of see you don't get the answer right away, but you start to get the pieces of the puzzle, and it's fun. It's fun to watch too. It invites you into to watch closer. Anyway, but I really liked, and of course this one also had, we didn't touch on it, and I'm sure we will eventually. But this is a car movie too.
Mhm.
That if you are love cars, this is one to watch. It's also painful to watch too. From the stand of, there's a lot of great cars here that do not. It's kind of like Dukes of Hazard. I can't remember what the statistic was, but they said that they had went through like so many cars, like of the making the movie, and I have no doubt that that was true in this movie too.
Yeah, and
It's
they
kind of
they s
painful.
yeah, it's almost like advertisement for Mini Coopers, which
It
you
was.
would think, the Mini Cooper people would be all in on this movie, which they weren't. They didn't do any deals for them. They actually had to outright buy the Mini Coopers that are in the movie, whereas Fiat, they were overjoyed with them being able to use their cars in the movie. They gave them their vehicles. It was like, "Hey, if you wanna to use ours instead of Mini Coopers as the main vehicles, we'll give you more cars," which,
Right.
they took advantage of, Fiat, but yeah, they said you would think, this is a kind of a love letter to, Mini Coopers that they would have been more appreciative, but that they weren't.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, and you had, these they also did it up with the colors too, which help that. Even to get to that part of the movie, it's a walk up, and it's just really cool. I appreciate it. Like this, obviously, this movies kind of are different, shot in a different time, a little bit different, focus on the story and the pacing. Very refreshing from my point of view because of modern
Yeah.
tell you everything in the world before you can even, figure it out for yourself. And it's like, no, no, this one takes its time, and it is peak 60s, all the way through. From a standpoint, yeah, I was too. This has everything. This has the verve, the cool factor, the cars, the heist. Michael Caine, obviously cool protagonist, and you even have a little bit of criminal action there, a little bit of the criminal syndicate, although
Yeah.
with a gentleman's kind of British kind of pop,
Yeah.
which adds to the levity even more.
Mhm.
Too. This does have comedy bona fides. It's not like rip roaring. It's not like that kind of comedy, but it is. It takes it in a way. It helps cement it, the seriousness of it, for me anyway. I don't know about, how about you? Where do you land on, it's a comedy, but the seriousness of it and the tone?
Yeah, I like how it never kinda settles on one thing. It
Yep.
kinda runs from, and it's just, it does like almost a shorthand. It doesn't like, spend too much time trying to explain everything, 'cause, you have Noel Coward, he plays Mr. Bridger, who's this, crime lord that runs the crime family through prison. He's in prison, and
Right.
so you kinda have to run past everything through him. And this movie, on paper, doesn't sound like my movie because 'cause I'm not really a ice guy.
Right. Action guy. Yeah.
They're okay. I'm not a car guy.
Right.
So, yeah, it doesn't, really fit the mold of, what I'd like, but it's such a exuberant movie that has this charm to it,
Mhm.
British charm, I guess, that just kind of draws you in, and I do like the crime element, the British kind of
Right.
crime side to it. But yeah, it also doesn't take itself too seriously. Doesn't get bogged down into the details of things. It just has a lot of action to it. And the car stuff, even though it's car stuff, it's fun, you know. There's like a whimsy to it because it's a Mini Cooper. It's not
Well,
like a overly sexy thing, you know.
and
And Michael Caine, you know, he does have
yeah.
like this swagger to him. And like you said, there's that scene where all the women are being offered to him, but he's not like this kind of greasy guy.
No.
He's got this charm to him that you just kind of get along with him, you know. And you go, okay, yeah,
Well, you
he's probably a male chauvinist, but
right.
it's fun.
Well, you can't help but it is fun. It is fun, and you
Mhm,
can't help but cheer with him and for him. You know, like where he's because
mhm,
because you're seeing what he's feeling, or that essentially that like he got out of the can. You know, you know what's the first thing he does? He goes to his tailor. Of course, a British dude, a
mhm.
British criminal would do that. You know, if you're cool like
Mhm,
Michael Caine, of course you would. And
mhm.
you would also have been picked up by your girlfriend slash assistant slash whatever in a cool
Lorna,
car.
yeah, a stolen car,
Yeah,
which
that
is a Pakistani ambassador car, which funny enough,
yeah,
that's exactly what it was. They
that's
borrowed,
awesome.
to film this guy who was a
That's perfect.
Pakistani ambassador of England. Borrowed so that flag he holds up, it was actually the real flag.
That's awesome. Well, that kinda goes into that little moment that we just kinda talked about, I think, kinda sets the tone for what this movie could not have been made in any other year or any other thing, even if the actors were the same. 1969 was such a unique time. And I say that
Mhm.
because you have, the Beatles released Abbey Road, that you had the moon landing in July, you had Woodstock in August, yeah, you had, you know, Peter Collinson make this film that captured I think essentially it captured it was perfectly done because it couldn't have been done in another era because it captured that swagger, that confidence that, you
Mhm.
know, and also like you know, the British were also kind of coming off of like they're not they are no longer the empire that was walking tall like they were like they're accustomed to. So
Mhm.
this movie I think it has nothing to do with Italy really. Obviously that's where the caper goes down, but it's more about this small little island that, you know, still can be the coolest place on earth, or at least for this movie anyway. You know, that's what it seems like. But yeah,
Yeah.
hell of a wind up in a pitch. And boy, it entertains you every step of the way getting there too.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to get into a little bit with Peter Collinson, again, he's the director. He his wife says that he was sort of uh kind of bored outside of time. You know, she said he would probably be more comfortable as a Viking or a pirate. He had that kind of attitude about himself, and
Yeah.
he had a rough starting out. He was his parents didn't want him to bog them down, so they threw him into
Right.
an orphanage. So he grew up in an orphanage, and oddly enough, Noel Coward was sort of like the uh kind of guy, the mentor for the orphanage, and he would come and visit the children. And Peter Collinson kind of stood out to him, and he asked Peter if he had a godfather, and he said no. And he said, well, you could be my godson. So he kind of mentored Peter, and so it was sort of like a reciprocal thing when he did this
Okay.
movie. He wanted Noel Coward in it as the crime lord, and I think this was Noel Coward's last movie.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, Peter Collins is sort of like a larger than life kind of character. They said that, you know, he would be mad one minute, but he would just be quickly get over it and go on with things. So yeah, he never stayed mad too long. His wife had a story where Peter he got like a Rolls Royce, and he was very excited to have a Rolls Royce. And he was driving his wife home, and he said, what could be better than, your husband driving you to your, front door with a Rolls Royce? And jokingly said, "Well, you're not really driving me to the door. You're parking on the street, and we have to walk through the garden and get to the front door." And he goes, "Oh yeah," and he takes the car and drives over the garden and into the house.
That's funny.
Crashes into the house and said, "Well, how about now?" But he was sort of that kind of guy. Um,
Dare me,
and
right.
yeah,
Watch
absolutely.
me. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I guess you kind of needed that sort of the attitude for this movie because they didn't always have permission to do exactly what they did.
Mm,
They were said that they I guess in Italy the word for car and the word for machines are the same thing, mechanics. And so they said they're going to put these machines, they're going to take them up the stairs and down the stairs and to that
oh
building.
god.
They didn't realize that they were going to be driving the cars down these
Right.
these ancient steps, and also the um store owners didn't realize that they were going to be driving them outside the right outside their businesses down the down the
Well,
little thoroughfare.
yeah, well, that's it's also too, like, crazy, like, how just and everything was practical, obviously, duh, but,
Mhm,
it's even more amazing too that, again, the era of the cars, you have this small little car that can outmaneuver everything on the road. That's what the big thing was because
mhm,
it could really it owned the rally circuits, or some of them anyway, like the lower ones. Forgive me if that's incorrect or whatever, but I know
mhm,
that it won some races, the races that it could compete in where it was uniquely positioned because it was such a hell of a, you could just throw it around a curve at full
mhm,
speed and it was fun.
mhm,
But I was gonna say too, the there was a scene there too when they're tearing through the piazza or whatever, the in Turin
mhm.
and here and there and everything, and you're seeing dining room tables, just kind of whiz by a little bit, and then all of a sudden, and it's not like the cops are like blind to this; they see this too, and they're reacting as best as they could. And the key word here to not give anything away is reacting. Because there's this like also kind of this I love how this movie also stacks things up very quickly and then it moves on. Like there's and that's one of those scenes there. There's like they go on through whatever, and then there's a cop on a motorcycle who happened to be whatever, and he's going around and I guess there was like a wet spot or whatever because a janitor, and here because the cop goes whoosh, and then the guy's kind of like what the hell, like what, like you can imagine, like he's like, just what else am I going to see next? Anyway, it just stacked the ridiculousness up in a nice little pile, and then you move on. But that's one of the many winks and a nod, a British wink and a British nod. I would say that this movie gives you that is so enduring. And then it just builds and builds and builds. And and also I apologize for not having color in this, but this doesn't do it justice at all, whatsoever. But either the scale or the thing, and those are the real cars there too. On this, I don't know what this thing is, but it's like this just kind of a, I don't know, just like a rube, like a hell of a chase. I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, yeah, they end up on that building. Yeah, no, actually, when they were filming that, I think one of the producers had said something about the filming was kind of anarchy, and and I think when they were filming this scene, the director turned to the producer and goes, "Here's your anarchy,"
Mhm.
this is the crazy stuff we're doing. But yeah, it would be remiss to not to mention the stunt coordinator that did all the car stuff, designed everything was his name's Remy Julienne. And yeah, from the interviews that I read of the stuntmen that did it and himself, they had nothing but praise for him. One of 'em said that he was in the car with Remy and they were in a Mini Cooper. They weren't filming. They were just driving to a location, and Remy he said that come up to a stop sign or stoplight, and he bounced the car up to where it was on its back wheels and kind of set it up and then dropped it down. He said he'd never seen a driver do that before. And but yeah,
Yeah.
literally he could make it do things that they never had seen before. So
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and to kind of call call that into the what we're talking about here to complete the picture is like that there are the drivers they also had were like I did some research and it said that there were a mix of pros and amateurs from British mini
Mhm.
clubs.
Uh-huh.
But Remy, he was very prolific. He went on to do a few James Bond movies and the
Mhm.
Taxi franchise. But again, no CGI can replicate the real practical effects of a real car, like
Mhm.
bouncing on the. It's just amazing what they can do with
Yeah.
speed and four small tires.
Yeah, yeah, there's one scene that they cut out, but, there's, it was like, in this sort of orchestra thing, and it had the cop cars and the 3 Mini Coopers kinda facing each other off while the, orchestra's playing, Blue Danube, uh, and, it kind of didn't quite fit with the rest of the movie, but the deleted scene is on the 4K, so you could watch that. Really, really cool scene, they're kind of like, almost orchestrated sort of, going around each other, and then the Mini Coopers, take off out the door, and the police cars all kinda jam up, against each other, and get, stuck at the exit there at the doors. But yeah, a real fun scene, so if you have the physical media, you might wanna check that out. But yeah, a lot of, a lot of very, very cool, stunts. There's one in the sewers where they're kinda coasting side to side. It's sort of like a circular, tunnels that they're going through. The one stunt that they couldn't get, just because I guess the velocity of the cars just couldn't get to the point. Remy wanted to do like a full circle, them
Right.
driving, but they couldn't get it to go all the way around through the circle. But that was the one of their disappointing things that they weren't able to accomplish. Um, but yeah, all of it was obviously practical. They did say that, there's, one scene where they actually jump from roof to roof, and, they didn't get the, right angle just because it doesn't look as impressive as it actually was, them jumping from one building, to the next. But yeah, that's just, that's one of the things about this movie. There it's so many impressive, like, car stunts, you kinda get lost and don't appreciate all of them because, they come at you kinda hard and fast, which is kinda unusual for a movie at that time, because usually there's, like, one big, stunt or whatever that everybody talks about. With this movie, it just kinda keeps hitting you with them, you know?
So, well, it's brilliant how it shows how they're going to do it step by step
Mhm.
by um
Yeah.
and of course what I we the whole thing is it revolves around this the shipment of gold that will be passing through Italy at this certain time. And it's the perfect caper, so to speak. But and then of course you have their traffic computer that we just kind of talked about who Professor Peach, yeah, Benny Hill hacks by swapping the program tape. Like it would be laughably low tech today, but that was cutting edge in 1969. But again, it adds to the layer of sophistication to the movie.
Yeah.
And you even have where I think their cover was like the cup or whatever, the festival, the uh the mini the jam the street to help with the gridlock the city. Like, but they had everything covered.
Yeah. Yeah, I like how, Wikipedia, they have a little entry for historical computer security significance, and it reads, "The film depicts an early example of an attack against a computer system or hacking as a major part of the plot. Key elements of the attack includes the insertion of malicious software onto a magnetic tape data storage. A physical security breach allows the tape to be inserted into the computer, which controls the traffic system for Turin. At the same time, several cameras are deactivated during the
Right.
course of the film by devices which cause interference. The result is a focused denial of service attack, which allows the characters to escape from with the stolen gold." Like, like how they kind of put in like the modern terms for what they were doing, which they wouldn't be a thing back then.
Right, right.
We just
Well,
barely understand what was going on. Yeah.
right. Yeah, also too, like the playful. There's a very playful nature of this movie too,
Mhm.
and one of the things that not only the way that it was shot, who I believe it was, the gentleman, the cinematographer went on to do Raiders of the Lost Ark, but he
Mhm.
would do these wider shots, um,
Mhm.
and the Mini Coopers look even more tiny, like, they look like toys. So, these cars go everywhere. I'm just kinda showing a very brief sample of, like, some of the hijinks that they get up to, that, whether it's on the top of that building or whatever, they go through water, they go, they even, there's even a sad part too, which I kinda already covered, but, like, where they have these beautiful machines, as they are known in Italy,
Mhm.
like you said, Tom, and you go, "No." And then, of course, they're red, white, and blue. So,
Mhm.
which, again, everything else reinforces this and things stack up so nice and so neat. You have the UK, everything matches everything, like, they
Mhm.
have everything down to down the line. It's dress right dress. And that's another aspect that is very appealing of this movie. Um, but like I guess they did some of the stunts. Um, uh, sorry, I lost my train of thought here. I lost my place. But anyway, I'll throw it back to you. I'm like,
Oh, and, we can't, overlook the musical score to it. The music, is pretty vital to it. There's a big song at the end about the Self-Preservation Society that kind of goes on, and the guy behind the soundtrack is Quincy Jones. Which I think someone was saying, well, it has to be a British person that wrote that song at the end.
right.
And I think Quincy Jones is like, yeah, really? I I wrote that. So yeah. But yeah, when I go back to movies and television back then, and a lot of times when I'm impressed by the music and I look, it's usually Quincy Jones that's behind it. I don't know, he just has this thing with music that makes whatever he's doing stand out no matter what it is, and he seems to be able to adapt himself. And I didn't realize what a talent Quincy Jones is until I started,
Oh
appreciating,
yeah,
movies and television a little bit more. But yeah,
same.
everything kinda adds to the whimsical nature of this movie that just kinda adds even like the big bad guys, the, Italian mafia and the are they're just a little cheeky as well, there's, they're serious, but they're not too serious, you know? There's the
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, it's very playful. And
Mhm,
and to kind of cover the music a little bit, at the very end of the film, this doesn't give anything away, but there's this the cast did a very rough, deliberately rough rendition of the Self Preservation Society, which is one of the songs that they sing.
mhm,
And it's deliberately rough, and it's designed so that you there's a certain revelry in the way that they sing it,
mhm,
and it I don't wanna read too much into it, but that we'll save that for another, for either later on in the show if we get to it, or some other later thing. But also that thing that they were driving on, I'm gonna butcher it, but Legato roof track, that was real and operational, in 1969, and it still is, I believe it's still around, but it's a cultural site, cultural, complex
mhm.
or whatever. But anyway, everything is real. Like, from like these steps, the step scene. I think in front of that's a real Turin church, and there's
Mhm,
also like a wedding going on too, which is like just bonkers. Like that,
mhm,
and I don't think they do any close up shots because it's all far away. But even far away shots, you can see the enough detail to see like this is a real church. This is like 1,000 year. I'm just making this up. Like an
mhm.
ancient church, in the middle of Italy, this ancient village, and you hear here comes these rip roaring, very, um, uh, I guess, I don't know what the British. I try to search for a British term. I can't do it to save my life. But anyway, anyway, so this all feeds back into to Remy, to his, he's really really good, and
Mhm.
and I have no doubt that, I'll be looking for, some of his stuff a little bit later on to see if I see any, connective tissue. 'Cause
Mhm.
sometimes they will repeat certain kind of stunts with just different cars. Not quite to this extent, obviously, but like, James Bond, that's like a whole other level of crazy zany, things in and
Mhm.
of itself too, which is also British, surprise,
Yes.
surprise. But yeah, you have this wonderful thing, um, that goes through and it's just, I don't know. I don't. I would have to watch it a couple more times to figure out what my absolute favorite parts are. But right now, it's favorite parts, like across the thing. Like whether it's
Yeah.
Benny Hill talking about, he
Mhm.
has a proclivity for a certain kind of um,
Uh,
woman. Like
yeah,
he has
yeah,
a type,
yeah.
and it's very interesting. It-
Very, very voluptuous.
yes, very voluptuous. Yes,
Maybe overly voluptuous.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, he loves them.
Yeah, a little handsy.
Yeah, Lil Handsy. Yeah, he is an absolute Boy Scout when it comes to helping push people through doors. I'll put that way.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, but yeah, and
Just another
I
cheekiness that you can add to the movie that just it's endearing. It's endearing.
yeah, it's probably you probably couldn't get away with it today, but yeah, there's like I said, whimsical nature that doesn't allow it to be taken too seriously. But yeah, and these guys are kind of crazy. Michael Caine didn't drive back then, so he doesn't do any driving in this. Um there's a scene where, the Mini Coopers get piled onto a bus, and, then, there's a guy there, directing the cars into the back of the bus. No one would do that, so that's actually the director. The only the director would agree to do do that scene because yeah, everybody else was like, "No, that's too crazy, we can't do that."
Right.
So yeah, if you look a little closely, that's the director. But yeah, it just kinda shows you how far, they were willing to go to get this thing done. But yeah, there's a lot of cars, a lot of, explosions, lot of cars going off cliffs. Yeah, another star of the movie is Italy itself with those winding
Oh God.
hills and, curvy roads that just crazy. And that kind of Mike and I have kind of fallen in love with Italy a little bit
Oh
with
God.
their giallo movies, and so this was kind of a treat to be kind of revisit Italy, but from a British slant, you know.
Well, from the world building is phenomenal in this. It's top tier. It's everything that I want to see in a movie. And absolutely, yeah, I love the fact that just from the way that they don't spend too much time on it, but like I get a kick out of like older American movies that kind of show how important trains were back in the day. That trains were
Mhm,
essentially the car. First, that was kind of the thing. So that's always interesting to see kind of different periods of travel and like different details, like the bus that they use. It
mhm,
any aspect of this film is just it invites you in to ask questions, and I can't help but think that it's done. That's done on purpose, and I have an aim toward a reason behind that. I think you know why. But
mhm,
we might get there. But in any case, it's again, and we haven't even talked about the 2003 version. Not really. And would
mhm.
really, I mean, aside from it being, it doesn't really reinvent anything that this film does. It just does it. It sticks to the parts that work very well, and obviously you're going to have a little bit more completeness there from the standpoint of it is a modern film. More modern film, so it's going to
Mhm.
have different sensibilities. But and I think it earned its own right. But as far as the original goes, like there's an original for original because you there always has to be a first, and this is it. This is masterfully done.
Mhm.
And I'm kind of glad that they didn't make, more or a series of these because it maybe in a completely different kind of context or something like that. Of course, that's what the modern filmmaker would
Yeah.
do. They would be like, where can we do a prequel? We can't do a sequel, but we can do, let's just go back in time. But anyway, kind of joking, but
But yeah, the speaking of a sequel, they did kind of the ending in the movie, no, we won't get too much into spoilers, but yeah, the ending of the movie, they weren't kind of happy with, so they kind of redid and came up with the new ending, kind of on the fly, and they kind of did that for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons is they kinda literally kinda end the movie on a cliffhanger. And, one of the reasons for that is for British films at that time, the bad guys couldn't succeed.
Right.
They couldn't, get away with the gold. So, they kinda had to end it in an interesting way. I think they ended it perfectly for this
Yeah.
movie. But it also set up for a sequel. The producers kinda had an idea, and the sequel would be um that the guys would, get out, um, no I'll kinda keep it kinda vague, but then the gold would end up down the hill, with the mafia, the Italian mafia, and the sequel would have been, the British guys trying to get their gold back
Oh,
from the Italian mafia guys, but, that never came to fruition, which it might have been interesting, but I think, I think you're right, it's probably better with the one and done kinda thing.
yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, because you just again, there. I should have said this. This movie smartly knows how to. This is, I guess, where we get a little bit. I'll get a little bit smarter here with my commentary, but this movie it plays with you and it wants you to ask questions and it wants you kind of it kind of wink and a nod, but it also wants you to ask questions. But at the same time, it doesn't just because it wants you to ask a question doesn't mean that it's gonna give you an answer or that you should or there should be an answer or not, like, as to what I mean, we're not gonna slice it. It's not that kind of film. But, you could what's the layers of motivation or whatever. I'm just making it up, kind of being silly here, but I'm being a little bit trite, but I like I agree with you. I don't know that this would have worked. I think that they did it incredibly it's incredibly creative to just kinda leave it there and what happened next, and also while that's going on, there's also another aspect that's playing out in the movie. I think that plays so perfectly. They do cut scene like between that the heist, the exit of the heist, or the end of the heist,
Mhm,
essentially, as far as we, the audience, are concerned, and you
mhm.
also have the one dude in prison, who's
Mr.
like,
Bridger, yep.
yeah, Mister, yeah, exactly, who I believe, like wasn't he the original or was confused if he died, if the original planner of the thing died or not, or if he d no, I think he didn't die. I
Yeah. Yeah, that
misremember. It
it's
was
played
divorced.
by played by Noel Coward, yeah. But yeah, I love the scene where you got the pictures on there with, Michael Caine with the cat
Oh
visiting
god, yeah, yeah.
the cat lady, it's just such a
Yeah, the sister of, Professor Teach, I think, yeah.
yeah, yeah, just, just I just love that, but yeah, Mr.
It's like
Bridger's
it's
got a
natural, just
yeah,
like it's,
but yeah,
is it
but
oh,
yeah,
go ahead, sorry.
you have the like you said, success of the heist, but also at the same time, the success of the crime lord because, yeah, it's there's sort of a reflection on him as well since he, you know, gave him the go ahead, you know?
Right. Well, I know that there was a standard back then, but even there's also a lot of subversive elements to this movie too, just because it was made in 1969, and not because it was like maybe it was maybe there's an art of that. I mean, there is a little bit of a rebellious edge to it, like where you kind of have this guy, this British guy who's to the nines, dialed out and cool. He gets out
Mhm.
of jail and he's already rich. I mean, essentially that comes through. He's got a big stash of money that he just burned through. Either way, either way, it sets him up to be this protagonist that you want to cheer for because he is the underdog, especially after they meet the Italians. Boy, if there wasn't a way to assassinate a whole or part of a nation in their stereotype, that was like there's a scene there where he basically comes in and basically the mob says, "No, no, you stay on your island and we'll be fine. We'll be just fine over here." And they make it and they prove a point and then they crush. these cars to kind of make this point. Anyway, the like
Mhm.
it makes you feel something, some kind of way when you see these beautiful cars are just destroyed, you know. And
Mhm.
it also is like, hold on a second. Now, if you weren't invested in kind of like the thing, you get invested in it really quick. Holy shit! I need to silence my phone. Sorry. Uh, like, anyway, going back to my point, he's this plucky guy versus these powerful guys who just don't even take him seriously, and they think that they can, you know, push him out or whatever. It is criminal bully kind of thing. But anyway, it adds extra motivation to his you know, getting in there and going. But anyway, going back to this the subversion point, it's all over the film because 1969 is it just counterculture and all that. But so the fact that they show the ending is one thing, but I
Mhm.
think that, you know, in my uh interpretation of the ending, it's also hell of a wink and a nod with
Mhm.
the, you know, the no coward, his character, you know, being like, "Yep, we're good."
Mhm.
So, so the, you know, did they win? Did they? You know, I feel a certain kind of way about it, but I'll let the audience. That's the beauty of this film, that it
Mhm.
bites you in. And again, it's playful. It asks you. It wants you to
Mhm.
ask questions and kind of go. Not everything is going to be. You know, sometimes there's a little bit of a wild goose chase there in a playful manner, I will say. But this one just works a lot for me. I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's was a big hit in the UK and I think Europe as well, but yeah, didn't really kind of didn't hit the mark in America. I think one of the reasons is I think the cover. This is the American movie poster for it, which has a a half naked woman with a map on her back, and Michael Caine with a big gun, which neither are in the movie.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
oh, so people are going to it for a sexy lady and so maybe some gunplay, and none of that's in the movie.
Nope.
Also, also one of the producers actually thought about putting subtitles in it because most of the Americans didn't at the time didn't understand what they were saying. and
Uh,
uh he got pushback from it. It's like, we're not gonna subtitle an English movie.
right. Right. Right.
But
No,
yeah.
you don't do that.
So yeah, it took America a few decades before they came to appreciate this movie. But yeah, it did have quite a big success in the UK, and that makes sense because it's a very British movie, and I can see where a lot of them take pride in this movie, which absolutely makes sense. It really has that spirit of of the British. But yeah, it's so one of those movies, and so it's kind of an underdog movie itself, um, and it's just a fun movie to watch. Yeah, it's I think I was kind of blown away by it when I first watched it, and like I said, it kind of reinforced it kind of stayed with me quite a bit because then I was also playing the video game, and so yeah,
Right.
that kind of captured my world for a little while there. And actually, I was thinking about it. I was like, man, I need to dig that game back out, it's probably in storage somewhere, so because
That
I
would
don't
be fun.
yeah, that would be, if we were on top of things, we would, probably be streaming it or something afterwards, but, we don't plan things, so but, yeah, one of the sad things I was gonna bring up is, that the director, he was he didn't, have a long life. When he was, 40, he was getting ready to do another movie, and he went in for a doctor visit because for insurance, you have to have, checkups, make sure everything, you're good for being able to film, and he came home and told his wife, "I can't do the movie, I've got aggressive cancer," and
Mm.
within 3 months he was dead. He was a picture of health before he went into the doctors, and yeah, he's just kind of quickly faded away afterwards. And his wife during the interview said, she didn't know if what caused it, was it the cancer or just the fact that he found out. But yeah, it just kind of shows you how how life is, you never know what's gonna happen. But yeah, he was one of those guys that kind of lived on the edge. So, it seemed like he even though he only lived to 40, he lived
Mm.
a very full and rich life,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, it's a shame that
abs-
we didn't get to see, what he could have done, if he had more time to direct more movies.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, the film is great. You need to go see it now, and then and you just never know. You just never know. It reminded me a lot of go karts. I think that's why it's playful too, because it encouraged you. It just kind of like everybody was a kid at some point. You had a car that you push around and invent some.
Mhm.
And, whatever, or even better now, the modern equivalent of it would be playing like a video game like Grand Theft Auto, or
Mhm.
like you had said, yeah, around that time, probably a little bit after that was like there was a lot of card games, that were like race oriented or like some kind of
Mhm.
thing like that like Need for Speed, that series comes to mind. But
Mhm.
all fun. I can understand why you love it even more from playing that game and then being able to see that the seeing the original and then going to see the remake. Pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah, and, there's an interview with Michael Caine on the documentary, and, yeah, he says it's always fun, when, a young person comes up to him and, you never know what they're gonna say, but whenever they say, "You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off." He said it always gives him a chuckle, seeing that, younger people are, find the movie, and that adds, a similar impact, no matter how old you are when you see this or how old the movie gets, there's always, an audience for it. It's just one of those movies that, its charm kinda wins you over, no matter, who you are,
Absolutely, yeah.
even if you're not a car guy like myself.
Yep, and like this month, we have seen and watched some originals, some that became classics, and some that were just originals. All their weirdness, their big ambiguity, the just the refusal to give you what you want, yeah, is good. These things are good, and I wish that they would be replicated a little bit more. Nowadays, it wouldn't kill them to do that, but who knows? Who knows? Yeah, we live in an era where, like, we literally just this weekend, I'm pretty sure that in any other time period, an active opening Star Wars movie would have crushed anything in the world, and now we live in a world where like we had a horror film that bested it. A couple horror films actually that made more money, but anyway, that hopefully we can find more films like this. And then I have no doubt. I don't know about you, Tom, but like since we've been doing this, and this is a little bit extra long month for the originals, the series that we're doing. You start to see and you start to develop a pattern of like, oh yeah, that's original, that's original, that's original. You can just add to the list. And
Yep.
I think we're going to have to revisit this series
Yeah.
sometime again in the future for sure.
Yep. Yeah, we keep finding, cool months to do, and, we wanna, follow up, but yeah, if you have an idea for a originals movie, you put it in the comments below. Give us a like and a subscribe if you've, enjoyed watching us, and if this is your first time checking us out, we've, covered quite a bit of different types of movies, so you can look at our back catalog and see, if there's anything that might catch your fancy. I also do comic book reviews under our shorts. And we also have a series called Binge Worthy where we cover television shows, and Flipping the Pages that covers the printed work.
Absolutely. Look out for new episodes of those coming soon.
Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed our cheeky little discussion about the Italian Job. It's one of those movies that once I saw it, it's kind of stayed in the my head throughout the
Absolutely.
years. Yeah, it's never kind of left.
Absolutely. Well, I've been Mike.
I'm Tom. Don't blood
For
the bloody doors off.
Vroom, vroom. Ah.